Who's actually going to get the most out of the Klipsch R51 PM? Is it the home studio creator who needs a clean, wired connection, the couch potato who just wants Bluetooth music in a small living room, or the casual listener who's trying to stretch a budget? And for the average buyer, does the price justify the features, or are there cheaper options that do the same job? Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. I hear that question a lot when people are standing in the electronics aisle, staring at a sleek black speaker that looks a lot like a mini bookshelf model. The hesitation usually comes from three places. First, the fear of ending up with a speaker that sounds good on paper but falls flat in a real apartment. Second, the worry that the powered label means you'll need an extra amp or complicated wiring. And third, the sense that you might be overpaying for a brand name when a generic option could do the job. Those are valid concerns, and I spent a good chunk of the past week setting up the R51 PM in a variety of scenarios before I hit record. Let's start with the basics of what the R51 PM actually brings to the table. It's a powered monitor, which means the amp is built right into the cabinet. You plug it straight into the wall, hook up a source, and you're ready to go, no external receiver needed. That's a big win for anyone who wants a clean desk or a simple TV setup without hunting for a separate amp. The speaker also offers Bluetooth 5.0, a 3.5mm mini jack, a Phono/line analog input with a switch and ground screw terminal, plus a USB digital input. In short, you have every common connection you might need for a laptop, phone, turntable, or even a gaming console. Now, who should definitely consider buying this? If you're a content creator or podcaster who already uses a computer or a digital audio workstation, the USB digital input makes it a plug-and-play solution. Connect the speaker via USB and you get a clean, low-latency signal that's perfect for monitoring mixes or editing voiceovers. The Phono input is another hidden gem. It means you can drop a classic turntable right onto the speaker without needing a separate preamp. For the audiophile who still enjoys vinyl, that's a genuine convenience that you won't find on most Bluetooth-only bookshelf speakers. The R51 PM also shines in a modestly sized living area. I placed one on either side of a 40-inch TV and paired them via Bluetooth to a streaming app on my phone. The sound filled the room with enough bass to feel, yet it never overpowered the dialogue. The built-in amp is calibrated for the 5-inch driver, so you get a balanced mid-range that makes movies sound natural, without the exaggerated boomy effect you sometimes hear in cheaper Bluetooth speakers. If you're the sort of person who likes to keep a tidy desk, the fact that these speakers are self-powered eliminates the need for a bulky external amp. The power cord is a standard IEC connector, and the unit sits flat against a shelf, taking up little vertical space. The knobs for volume, bass, and treble are tactile and easy to adjust on the fly, which is handy when you're switching between a bass-heavy playlist and a calm podcast. On the flip side, there are some practical drawbacks worth mentioning. First, while the Bluetooth range is decent, about 10 feet without major interference, walls and large furniture can start to cut the signal. In my testing, the audio would glitch if I walked from the kitchen to the living room while the speaker was playing. So if you need a truly whole house solution, you'll probably want a dedicated receiver or a mesh network instead. Second, the built-in amp, while convenient, caps the maximum volume at a level that's fine for a bedroom or small living room, but it won't fill a larger open-plan space. If you regularly host movie nights with a crowd, you may find yourself turning the TV's volume up rather than the speakers, which can compromise the overall balance. Another nuance is the USB digital input. It's great for a direct computer connection, but it does require that the source device supports a USB audio class. Some older laptops and certain Android phones will only output a generic USB data stream, which the speaker won't recognize as audio. In those cases, you'll have to fall back to the 3.5mm jack or Bluetooth, which adds a small step to your workflow. It's not a deal breaker, but it's something to be aware of if you plan to rely heavily on the USB option. Now let's talk money. The R51 PM sits in the mid-range price bracket for powered bookshelf speakers. You're paying for the Klipsch brand heritage, the combination of multiple inputs, and that clean, room-filling sound without a separate amp compared to buying a pair of passive speakers plus a decent amp. The total cost ends up similar, but the convenience factor is higher. If you're just after a Bluetooth speaker for occasional background music, you could.